City of North St. Jenny, if you take the roll.
Commissioner Thorson and Commissioner Cole are absent. Commissioner Peterson? Here. Commissioner Wong?
Here.
Chair Furlong?
Here, quorum is present. We have a couple items. Kind of excited to hear the update. Turn it over to the executive director.
Thank you, title. The chair. Thank you, Chair. Yes.
Who am I?
Yes, exactly. We have two items. First up is the kind of the financial update of the last student-built house that we built at 2487 19th Avenue. Dan, are you gonna speak to that and kind of tell us where we're at? We've had a few straggler invoices come in, but I think we're about wrapped up with that project. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Do you have a different title, or is this you? This are you this?
I did watch a little bit of what's happening over in England and that stuff. I think I should have a different title. Shouldn't we all? I'm just,
You have scepter. orb.
Sir Dan.
Sir Dan. Yes. Just as a, are you city manager in this, or you're the?
Executive.
The executive chair of the Housing and Redevelopment Authority. As the executive chair has mentioned, we did have some more invoices that have come up. In addition to that, in this project cost report, it does include closing costs that the city had to pay. So I think we're getting pretty close to having final costs onto it. So all of the land, materials, and cost for supplies and so forth related to the 2487 19th Avenue student-built project came to $333,722.21. We do an estimated personnel cost on an annual basis.
What is it again? 300.
$333,722.21.
Okay, and that's the expenses.
That's the expense. That's the actual out-of-pocket expenses that were actually for everything. And then there's attached to that is actually a list of all of the transactions that took place that come up to that total. And so there's another item, and just kind of took kind of an estimate. I think there was an estimate. So anyways, that property closed at $460,000. So we made a significant profit on that student-built home. The next student-built project that is being looked at this point in time that's actually underway is that there was a 2170 Eldridge property that was purchased. It's going to be split, so there'll be a 2170 and a 2172 Eldridge. 2172 is starting first. And so taking the land purchase, which was approximately $225,000, if you were to split that between the two properties, being approximately $113,000 apiece. And what I did was I took the actual materials and other costs that were from the most recent student-built house, and then I escalated it 10% for the first home and 15% for the next, just to be on the safe side. And so what it'll show is a total cost for the 2172 Eldridge and 2170 Eldridge at this point in time, our best guess. And I believe, the actual project manager maybe is here. So we'll also speak and may have a different change. This was kind of just based on the information that we had. If you build a very similar house, the cost should be relatively pretty close to the same, I would hope. So you would end up having on the 2172 approximately $391,000 total investment, and on the 2170 $404,000 total investment into that project. Again, if market values hold, which they all indications are that they're They're going to be holding for at least some time. There'll be a slight decline, but nothing radical at this point in time. So if there's any basis in the litmus test of selling the last one for $460,000, you still would make a profit on these two homes in addition. I did have the opportunity to walk through the last house. I actually have to say it was quite impressive. Very, very nice. And I think that's the design that's going in for these other two.
Yep, they're just moving the garage to the other side of the home. Otherwise, the same building, correct, my understanding.
So if there's any questions on the financial information, I would be more than glad to address that.
I think, this last one being, this is probably one of the more profit we've made on any of them. So, and I think the Eldridge property too, it kind of meets the needs for that HRA mission. Very old house and pretty stressed. But we're able to get 2 lots out of it, which is,
Absolutely.
it's going to add a lot of, it's going to be nice for that neighborhood because we do have some newer houses in that neighborhood also. But I'd love to hear from Tom in regards to how the project is moving forward and see where we are with everything. But yeah, thank you, Dan.
Well, you bet. I'll turn it over to Tom.
It's always exciting to hear that the next new project and that the other one was wrapped up. And do you know if one of the persons that bought it, had anything to do with the program, or was it a parent, or was it just an outside person that?
I believe it was an outside person. They do have connections in North St. Paul. They have family members here, and that kind of drew them to this area.
Well, good.
And again, they were looking, younger couple, 2 little kids, so they were looking at, a home that they can move into as a family. So I think that's been one of our goals as we design and build these homes and market these homes, that we want to have families move into North St. Paul, to keep it alive, keep things going here. And the lady was a school teacher, and so she thought this program was just wonderful. So it was kind of nice to hear them talk about it. So I met them several times. We had a pre-inspection before they purchased the home, and they generated a little punch list of things that need to be addressed. Most of them are painting issues. Walls got a little scuffed up, things like that. So we
It's a pretty
addressed.
wild party there that you had.
Yeah. Well, we tried to keep it calm, but things got out of hand once in a while. No, it was good. It was just mostly painting issues they had. There was one issue with some flooring, and we contacted the flooring trade partner. They came out and repaired it right away. And so that was all taken care of.
And I believe we bought the warranty or some sort of
Correct.
warranty for the
Correct.
homeowner. So
Yeah, state statute requires in new construction that you have to do a 1-2-10 warranty. And so we went ahead and, I talked to my members of my advisory committee, which are builders, and they're like, oh, yes, you want to get this. Because state statute is very vague in what is determined something that needs to be repaired or something that just doesn't need to be addressed. And so with the warranty, it very clearly identifies and defines what things will be covered under warranty and what things will not be covered under warranty. So that's just a huge peace of mind for us.
So you mentioned during the program of putting some sort of maybe a contingency aside. Does this cover that then? We don't need to put money aside for future?
I think the
Potential.
contractor is still liable for things. Typically, in business sense, they usually put like 2% of the sale price of the home in a contingent fund just in case something would come up. A lot of that's probably going to be on the craftsmanship side, 1 year, sheetrock cracks, nail pops, things of that nature. The appliances and all those things are covered under the manufacturer's warranty. So the first one is craftsmanship for a year. Second one's mechanicals, plumbing, heating, and electrical. And all the trade partners we have are licensed trade partners, so they cover that warranty. And the biggest one is structural. And so there's a 10-year warranty that is part of the structural component. And then that's where this RLC warranty comes in to benefit us, because they'll define what's the structural warranty and what is not a structural warranty.
Okay.
And so that's just kind of a business standpoint. 2% goes in a restricted account just to take care of anything. I'm not sure if we've ever had any issues in the past.
Not that I know of.
Most
I've
of them
never
have
heard anything.
been, some electrical issues that came up. I know we've gone out and
They're all still standing, I know that for sure.
yeah, we're all doing good. And so again, that warranty really identifies what should be covered and what should not be covered.
Right. So I guess, having a 2% contingency fund may not be a bad idea, just to have, I don't know, Dan, if he's still here or not. Oh, yeah, there you are. I don't know if, we don't have that put into our, we do have a fund balance. Sure. Yep, okay.
Awesome. So is this gonna, or I'm sorry, any other questions on that house?
Nope, it's,
Okay, so
looks
we're-
awesome, and I tell you what, I had more compliments from people that were in there. Just a beautiful home, and how you guys designed it and how it laid on that lot was
Yeah, it
perfect.
fits in that lot nicely. We were able to build that without getting a variance for hardscape, after we redesigned the plan. So there was a hit we took with that original plan design, and I think there was a fee for that we paid. But that was pretty much offset by the architect CSA, who donated the second set of plans for us, so we didn't really lose out on anything. And she also modified the project will be on this fall. So we made some small adjustments to the plan. Primarily, we flipped the garage from being a left-hand to a right-hand, and that's done primarily for drainage and to decrease the slope of the driveway. So easier access for that. And we did make one plan change. Sometimes we call that free fall thinking. I get out there and I'm like, I just don't like the way this feels. And so I'll invite Ron and Randy to come out there and take a look at it, and some other trade partners. And we're like, yeah, we're going to make that change in that laundry room. And that's that small change I referred to earlier. So sometimes you got to get in that house and you just got to get a feel for it. And it just didn't seem right. And so it wasn't a major thing. We just flip-flopped the washer and dryer location, added a bench seat.
So is this new house that we're gonna talk about, is it gonna be similar then,
Correct. So those changes are already reflective on the plan.
already reflected? Okay,
So we're good to go on that.
good.
So any other questions on the house on 19th? Okay, I think it went well. It was a good project to do. I'm looking at multiple facets here. I'm looking at, does it fit in the neighborhood? Who are we marketing this house to, family members, such? And also, is it going to be above the skill level of who's building it? And so we like to keep it relatively simple. And with the house moving forward, we did make the roof slope a little bit shallower, because that house on Eldridge sits up a little bit high on a hill, and we didn't want to overpower the neighbors, so we brought the roof slope down a little bit to reflect that. And so that brings it down almost 2 feet from the existing one that we did last year. So I just have a few comments to make. With the budgets that were presented earlier, I also came up with pretty close to the same amount, because I did present a budget about a year ago, and my budget was like 360-some thousand, I believe. I'm pretty sure I submitted that in the notes a year ago, so like around 360,000. We had about 30-some thousand dollars in donations that came in. And so that's everything from, again, the drawing of the plans, the building permit, which the city did, waterproofing by Burwald Roofing, and also the shingle installation by Burwald Roofing. The insulation company, they donated money. The countertops, the granites, the solid surface, they were all donated. The mirrors and the shelving, they were all donated. Lyman Lumber, about $5,000 they knocked off the lumber bill. And I just received a new one for this coming project, and it's actually lower than the one we did last year.
Oh, really?
So lumber prices are coming down a little bit, reflective of what's going on with, trying to curb inflation here. But I'm also noticing some invoices, or not invoices, but proposals coming in, and there is an increase in some material costs, mostly with the HVAC, because of the cost of metals going up. So I think it's going to balance out to be pretty close to the same. I do have one quick question, though, on that project. As I was looking at some of these numbers, I think we carried over the lot cost from what we paid on 19th to the final cost of what that house costed. And obviously, we're not going to buy that lot again. So that's about $80,000 we would reduce. I don't have that budget in front of me, so that's more of a finance question. But I'm not sure if you carried over the budget of the lot price or not.
I thought that lot price was part of that cost. Why don't you come up here, Dan, and. So that 333 included
The lot.
the lot price.
Yes, it did
Yeah.
include the lot. The land purchase was approximately
Mhm.
$80,000. All other costs were $253, totaling $333 total.
Okay, so then you
So-
carried over the 253 for next year?
Yes,
Okay,
and then I added the new land costs. that
Gotcha.
was split.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for that
So
clarification.
we still should be in
Mhm.
the black for
Yeah,
the Eldridge houses.
houses. And as far as enrollment goes, I'm up again. We have to turn students down.
Oh, you did?
Because I have a cap
Wow.
with students, so it's
Kudos,
actually.
kudos to you.
It's kudos to everybody. I mean, this is a major partnership with the city, the high school, the 916, Century College, and St. Paul College. Even those cabinets that were in that home, I think the bill we got was like, I think it was under $5,000.
Wow.
If you wanted to buy those custom cabinets, you're probably looking at, over 15.
So what you're saying, I mean, basically that house, is definitely worth what, the cost is a
Right.
lot cheaper than what we're able to build it for if we're on
Mhm.
the open market.
And then, you always want to charge what the market absorbs, and we can't control the market.
Right.
At some point, we might be in a situation where housing costs come down a little bit, and the profit margin probably won't be as great.
All right.
But as I look at the industry, lumber goes up, interest rates go down, interest rates go up, lumber prices come down. You got to play that game. I don't have that magic crystal ball that identifies when that's going to happen, but for the most part, it holds.
So are both of these houses going to be built next year, or,
We'll do one, the one on the east side of that lot. I believe that was 2172. Verification, yeah, 2172 Eldridge, which is the easterly lot of that lot split. So right now, that existing home that sits on there, part of that house, just a couple feet, will be into where the new house sits.
Hmm.
And after talking with Ron and Randy a little bit about centering that house, we deemed it probably good to center it on the lot to provide space in between the existing houses, because some of those houses are pretty close to that property line. So I think we're still good with that, centering it on the lot.
do you know when it's going to be all demoed over there, or? Sure, you come on up. We'll call you Sir Ron.
We have it scheduled, we're hoping at next week, we'll start demoing, and the contractor that's gonna demo it is working with the foundation, the concrete guy. They're talking to each other because we're gonna demo it and dig the hole out at the same time to save some money, so we don't have to fill the hole in and then redig it, so. That is the tentative plan is for next week if everything goes good.
Okay, thank you. And I plan on being out there with the students on September 29th, just to take a look at that property, so they know where it is, first of all. Make sure the busing schedules and all that works out. Then I'll coordinate with Ron and Randy about getting the pod delivered to that site. And then we can go from there. Weather kind of dictates a lot of our schedule moving forward.
Are we going to be able to use the other lot then for
Correct.
staging?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
So I was out there earlier this evening and looking at the neighbors and where they are. You don't want to impede on their views or cut views of traffic coming down. So it might be better if we push that pod a little bit to the back. Yeah, which it wasn't a big deal, but just, the neighbors are there and they don't want to be sitting looking at that pod, trying to back out of the driveway and potentially cause an accident on Eldridge. So I think that'd be a good option.
Do we have a marketing piece that we put out on the lot that explains what we're doing and Who's doing it?
The 916 does. We
They
use
do.
it for marketing to the membered high schools.
But I'm saying on the lot itself, so people driving by know that it's,
We used to have some signage. That was back in 08, 09, when we did our first one, and that signage is pretty much done at this point. It pretty much got destroyed, basically putting it in the ground, taking it out, putting it in the ground, taking it out since 2008.
I'm
And
just thinking, since it's gonna be a 2-year project, it might be something nice to have there that would show
sure.
what we're doing. Be a shout out to you guys and a shout out to the city.
Yeah,
I think-
no, it's any advertising like that would be good.
We can do that? Okay. Perfect.
Good. Any other questions about the existing, or excuse me, the new project moving forward?
I'm just excited. It's not on this side of town now. It's
I'm ready to go.
on the other side.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
we're back over on this side.
Well, it reminds me of that duplex we did quite a few years back. And, you know, that was the first one that we never tore down. The one that sits across from Webster Elementary.
Yep.
And that was a great project as well. I mean, we took something there that was a negative in the city, we made it into a positive.
Right.
So that was good. So, you know, as we move forward with these, you know, nothing says we gotta tear every house down.
Right.
The
Right.
the one on Eldridge, that's gotta go. Yeah, so I think.
Not too late now.
It's, yeah, it was built in 1887.
1887. So when you do find the old outhouse out there and you dig it
I'll
up,
let you know, yeah.
I want to find out the gold coins that are in there.
Now, we're looking forward to it. We've been in school now a couple weeks and getting geared up to head out to the construction site.
There's actually some guy that was doing that years ago. He was going out and mapping out the old outhouses that were still, you know, still like over on the east side of St. Paul, and he'd dig them up and they would find stuff in those old outhouses.
I'm sure they did find things in those old houses.
They found stuff.
Good. And again, just looking through some of the notes I had, you know, we did that first house in 08, 09. And so we've done,
That was the first one?
yeah. On, yes, on 14th. Okay, and that one resold? Okay. Okay. I believe some teachers from Matamidi bought that. And when I met with them, they were doing the parade of homes, trying to get interior design ideas for their house. And they saw the one on that we built, and they said, we're just going to buy this one instead of fix up ours. It worked out really well. I think so far we've done 11 homes in North St. Paul.
Do you have a total? I was gonna actually go and take pictures of all of them and.
I have those in my classroom, a picture of every house
Do you? Okay.
we've done since I started the program in 1999.
That'd be,
That was my first year. That's back in the days when we did them through the school. And, you know, that's why this works out so well for us, because our challenge was getting property. And so the last few we built were way up in Hugo. And that's getting too far away from, you know, our home base, Century College. So when it was proposed to start working in North St. Paul, logistically, it worked out great.
I know I was at a mayor's conference in Brooklyn Park, or it was out in Minneapolis somewhere. And I told the story, and all the mayor's heads are like popping up. And I think we had quite a few people at this last, they're from all over the place going, wow.
Yeah, a lot of schools.
How can we, you know, duplicate this in our community? So I want to shout out to you and everything that you do and the program.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Well, it's just great working with Ron and Randy. They're easy to get along with. We kind of all have that construction mentality, building mentality, so it runs very smooth.
Good.
Run some donuts out of my area, but I'll stop.
All right, I appreciate that too. Yeah, last year we had, the neighbors were bringing us donuts a lot, which was kind of fun. They were happy to see that house finally, or that property finally get addressed.
Neighborhood is very excited.
Good,
Yeah, it's a huge benefit for that neighborhood.
awesome. All right.
So we look forward to it. Look
Okay.
forward to seeing you in the next cycle of building the house.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm always available if you want me to come in halfway through the construction process and give you an update, things like that.
I think that'd be good.
Great, thank you.
I always hate it when I come here in, you know, September and then we see each other in July. It's a
Right, right.
cloud of dust. It's done without any progress reports. So I'm sure Ron and Randy probably fill in that spot a little bit for me. I'm sure they do. But I'd be more than happy to come and address the city council for that, or HRA for that.
Good, appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tom.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anything else, Executive Director?
Nothing further, Chair?
Motion to adjourn? Unless anybody else has any questions or anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to say a couple of things. From the Planning Commission, they were really interested in proposing the idea of having someone from Planning Commission on the HRA. And then the other piece is in alignment with the comp plan, and that's looking at affordability and housing and just trying to figure out a strategy moving forward and what that looks like with the HRA.
I think that'd be good, beginning of the year, you know, with the new council and everything. That'd be a good time to implement that. Be good.
Yeah. Great.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn, Councilmember Peterson, second by
Second.
Councilmember Wong. Commissioner, any discussion? Not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We